What is going on, you guys? Welcome to podcast 23. This is Coach YoYo, your main host. My co-host today is not Coach Nick, which is crazy.
Unbelievable.
But we actually have Coach Paden with us today. Coach Paden he's been working with us for quite some time. 4
years, something like that.
Yeah, he took some time off, but now he's here with us today in the podcast. Yes. And we have our very special guest today, Mataeo. What's up, dude?
Let's go. Happy to be here, bro. For so long.
I know. Well, the reason why we want you on because you just did your last official show with the coach.
Yes.
June 1st, and that is Paden. Obviously, I know
Paden.
I know you probably had another coach off season, which we'll talk about that in a second. Okay. But the prep going into the show on June 1st. So, what we want to review today, guys, is we want to obviously review, Mateo's journey, why you want to become a bodybuilder, why you even step foot in the gym in the first place, and then we'll talk a little bit more about your emotional journey.
Okay.
And go from there.
I like
so
it.
Tell us about yourself, man. What's up?
So we're gonna go way back.
Yeah.
So the reason why I got into bodybuilding was because my emotional state. Like, I don't really not a lot of people know, but when I was like 6 years old, I think I was actually adopted by my aunt and uncle. So I never really knew my real parents. So growing up in a different household was great at first, and then leading into high school, I got pretty insecure. My family, my relationship with my parents wasn't really there because I kind of already knew, I feel like they didn't love me as much, and they ended up getting divorced, and it was a toxic household. But my escape was the gym. Cliche, right?
Yeah, whatever, man.
So I had nothing to do. I didn't have a lot of friends. I was insecure. So I got into the gym, and I was just lifting for fun.
Were you on a heavier side or a smaller side?
So my build, I feel like I've always had thick joints and stuff. Mm-hmm. People seem hefty, but as a kid I wasn't built. I was kind of more in that skinny fat area, which is weird.
Did you play sports?
Well, I wrestled.
Okay.
I wrestled, and then I played football in 8th grade for 1 year, and then I stopped because couldn't afford it. But yeah, I wrestled growing up and danced a lot. So I was kind of I was more slim. I was leaner. I wasn't eating much. Gotcha. And I was working out so much.
But so you weren't happy with the way you look physically.
Yeah, physically, I was I wanted to look like a bodybuilder. I started seeing all these the Machiavelli motivation.
Yeah.
I used to watch those. When men's physique became a category, I was like these guys look like that, and I was wow, I could do that. So
And who would have thought? People don't think that we have to work so hard to get
to that.
Yeah.
Just because men's physique is one of the least muscle group in between classic and bodybuilding, which we're aware of that.
Yeah.
But I don't think people know how hard it is even to be in men's physique competitor.
Incredibly hard.
Anybody can be shredded on stage, but I'm talking shredded condition, the looks, the tape, the whole proportion. Yeah. And I don't think people understand.
Yeah. It takes a whole, even the presentation. Yeah. And I think that's what I liked about men's physique is just having that confidence on stage. I grew up, since I was insecure about my body, I would project on the outside of being the most funny, or I try to people please and try to be really outgoing and stuff like that. And so on stage and in dance, I got a lot of confidence doing that.
Yeah.
And then so
because you've been dancing before.
Yeah.
So the stage is nothing new.
Yeah. So then the stage was there, and I was okay, I can compete. I've been on stage, I've been in front of people, no problem for me. So I was training. I started at, my junior year, I had no friends. No. Freshman year, I had no friends. Came back my junior year, and I gained, it was those newbie gains. I gained 10 pounds, dude.
Yeah.
I gained 10 pounds, and then
creatine, baby.
Creatine. Dude, my mom used to work at this supplement place where they make all the protein powders. She brought home a tub, a big container of those sample packets of Labrada protein. I remember shoving that down my throat and almost throwing up, but I was I'm going to get big. I'm shoving protein. I was shoving protein.
You were junior in high school at this point?
Wow, yeah, I was a junior in high school at this point.
Junior in high school, I was not thinking of that.
No, not even close.
Not even close, man. Yeah.
So I ended up prepping myself. After I graduated, I prepped myself for, I think the category for teen in men's physique was 19. Mm-hmm. So I was 19.
At the time, 19 and younger at the time. Mm-hmm. Now it's younger than 18,
they
I
changed them
think.
to 17, I
Or
thought.
17 or something. I can't remember.
Do they
I
even
know
let kids
they
compete
switched
at
it
18
now.
or 17?
They changed it. It depends on the show. I know they let some teens, but most of them got rid of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, weird. So I did that. No one showed up, so I won. As a teen.
By yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
First
good
place,
practice.
cool.
You know?
But that's a good. I mean, it's your first show. Did you do any other? What do you call it? Categories though?
No, just men's physique.
I know,
had
but
no
like
legs,
you only did teens.
Oh, no, I did teen and open.
Oh,
Yeah.
how did you do on the open?
I think there was 6 people. I got like 5th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now for your first show, not
For
bad.
my first
For
show,
being
yeah,
a
not
teen,
bad.
that's not bad.
And you did this by yourself.
Yeah. But one thing that I want to mention is like I starved myself for that. Like growing up wrestling, like we'd always make weight. We'd stand on like the scale, like
Oh my gosh.
with bad food, be like, okay, I can eat this. And like no one taught us like how to eat properly. Like my family, like they had no like we wouldn't eat very healthy. We'd just eat whatever, you know. And then
That was my next question. Like, what was your family background?
yeah, so I'm Native American and Mexican.
Got it.
So that's my ethnicity. And culture there, like the food, like they don't really believe in like diets and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's like, you're on a diet? Like what? Like
Yeah,
why?
yeah.
Like I used to get shamed on by my family. Like,
Food-
why are you doing that?
Food is culture. I mean, and
Yes.
the reason why I know that because my family is the same way from
Yes.
Malaysia. Like if I were to do what I do for a living there, I would not make any money.
It'd be weird.
Yeah.
It would be weird because nobody, it's not that they don't want to eat healthy. Majority of the people, they just can't afford to eat healthy,
So they eat like what's around them,
Correct.
which is like what the cultured food is based around.
which is why I love Spam and rice because it's so
That
cheap
stuff's
over there.
amazing, huh? It's a little salty.
Yeah, it
But
is,
whatever.
but it tastes good though. It's amazing.
It does. It hits the spot.
Yeah. So your background is
Yeah.
that, and you never grew up, and so you starve yourself for your first show.
Yeah, pretty much. So like I was used to wrestling where it's like I have to weigh a certain amount on the weekend. So then I would like starve myself for 2 days and
Oh my
dehydrate.
gosh.
I would dehydrate myself and then I'd weigh in, and then right after that, everyone backstage, or not backstage, after the tournament, we're getting ready in the bleachers and we'd just be shoving like candy bars, like just trying to get a bunch
After
of food.
weigh-in.
After weigh-in.
After
So
weigh-in,
just
yeah.
pound it as much as they can to get it all
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, because you're just so hungry and like so thirsty, and then we would go and wrestle.
So
So
I'm
then I
gonna
was used to that.
crazy.
Like not
I'm
eating.
gonna speak on this for a second because I haven't talked about this and I haven't touched on this yet because I used to coach. His name is Barry. I think Barry, and he is a wrestling coach for Alta Bingham. I can't remember which
Bigger
one.
schools over here.
Anyway, and when I when I told them about what we do and how we process how we lose weight the right way, and then so I naturally I asked a question like, hey, how do you guys do it in wrestling? And what he told me was so crazy because not only that you starve yourself, dehydrate, wearing this garbage bag for clothes,
Yeah.
sit in a sauna and sweat, or some people spit
Yeah,
all day
I've done
to
that.
get rid of. Yeah.
Jolly Ranchers.
Right?
Pop a Jolly Rancher and you're just spitting in a bottle.
I'm just saying, right?
It's crazy.
So all of those things that are happening, and who were the target audience? They're high schoolers. Mm-hmm. So what I mean by that is, I'm going to dive a little bit deeper. What I mean by that is, so here you are as a coach, as an adult, right? Coaching these young kids that are to starve themselves, to not eat, to not drink, to lose weight, not the way they should be losing weight. If you're talking about 5 to 10 pounds of weight or water weight, I'm cool with that. But if you're talking about 20 plus 30 freaking pounds,
Yeah.
and you starve yourself, do all these things, what I mean by that is the reason why I want to shed a light on this because a lot of people can potentially adapt an eating disorder from that. Luckily, not many, but I know there's a few people that had those, eating disorder issues
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's basically because a lot of people start like that.
Yeah.
They starve themselves
Yep.
because they don't like the way they look. They don't like
Plants
the way
that early seed of this is how I need to do it.
Yeah.
Instead of knowing how to do it. So like
Exactly.
he's prepping himself as a teen.
Yeah.
He doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
He's just gonna starve myself 2 days, not drink anything, and then we'll
Yeah.
do it how we did like wrestling.
Yeah.
So luckily it didn't, and not to mention the eating disorder, not to mention, physically you could damage something potentially, your hormones, everything, your blood work, right?
Yeah.
So we just don't see that on the inside.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like I had nobody like to to go to, you know, as a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? And I just had this dream of like being on stage. Like I wanted to accomplish that. And then mix that with all these high school emotions and wanting to look a certain way, and then used to eating that way. And at home, they're not eating right either. So I don't know what proper nutrition is.
Yeah.
It's just like a spiral of disaster.
Yeah.
So then like not much progress happened. Like I got shredded, but like that's because I'm starving myself. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
But no
and
muscle.
you didn't know how much muscle you have or you've lost anyway.
Exactly. Yep.
And the crazy thing about what we do now, because we're a coach, is that we are changing that generational continuation of eating garbage.
Yeah.
Because my kid or my kids in the future, they will know what protein, carbs, and fats are. They will. I'm not asking them to count calories. I'm just asking them to be aware of what they're eating.
Yeah.
And understand that, hey, food is okay to eat.
Yep.
But it has nothing to connect your emotion with. There's no emotional connection with food.
Yep.
Like literally, like if you look at food, there's no emotion. But we do that because of what we were taught growing up. Yeah. You know,
I was so surprised when like Paden's like right when like I'm going into my like the start of my recent prep, like he's feeding me this and this and this and that. I'm a holy like, dude, and I'm dieting,
12 weeks out at what? I think we kept you. It was above 2,800 calories.
Yeah,
your carbs were over 300. But your body
responded
so well that I didn't need to change anything. Yeah, you know,
that was my next question.
Crazy.
What was your macros when you first started prep with Paden? Was that
or
caloric intake?
I think we were at.
I had to look at my notes. I don't remember. It was a lot.
It was a lot. I think it was over 4
on carbs.
No, total. So total calories was about 4,000.
And you guys are cutting at this point.
Yeah.
Technically, right?
Technically, yeah.
So the reason why I want to bring this up is because what do normal people fucking do? They just start eating less day one. So by the time they get to prep, they're eating 500 calories, bro.
Yeah.
You lose so much mass. Might as well be on a trizipatide at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Might as well.
A little Ozempic at the point.
Yeah, whatever. It's crazy. So it was a lot of food going into it. It was a lot of food
right away because his job is pretty physical. So I mean, on top of it, doing concrete, driving around, he's in the heat all the time, and then his amount of time spent in the gym, the dude just burns. So you have to match that with calories because his output's so high.
Correct.
He's got to bring in enough food. And at the time when we met, he wasn't, you know, so we had him pretty high for a while until about 8 weeks out. Because I remember I sent a picture to Andre and I sent him a picture. He's like, man, this fool looks like he's ready to compete Saturday. And I'm the one who's thinking about a show. So,
yeah. And it's like crazy how much like your body wants to eat when it's like working that hard. And I did not realize that. Like,
so you were under eating for a minute.
Yeah, I was under eating for sure.
I thought you were bulking though before.
I took a 3-4 month break and then
from that other coach.
From the other coach.
And who was your other coach?
It was Brock.
It was Brock. Shout out to Brock,
my man.
Shout out to Brock. Yeah. How long were you with Brock though?
I was with him for like a year.
Okay. So you bulked with him for a year.
Yeah.
So you've grown. You know how many pounds? Like
I'd say a good. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I got a little chubby.
Yeah, I mean you have to.
Like 8 pounds.
You have to. But Brock took him pretty big because Brock did his off-season gear
protocol, everything,
all the stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean Brock did solid work with him.
Yeah,
and I think it's just when I saw Teo, I talked to him in the gym because we go to the same Vasa.
Yeah,
and you slowly start to see this kid just coming like this. You're like,
and you did, and you said you took 3 to 4 months off. And then Paden started noticing you kind of going on a left turn.
Yeah, I kind of
off the freeway.
Yeah. Once you start bulking and eating so much, after a while, man, it just like, it just hits you, man. You get food fatigue. You know, the gym is not as fun when you're not seeing them lines.
Yeah, and
like that's totally fine. That's the goal. But just with the added like work stress and everything, and I'm like wanting to do a show, it just kind of like that off season, like kind of got dragged on a little too much and I couldn't keep the food down. And so that's when I just kind of went to more like intuitive eating. I was still eating really healthy, but then just kind of was like losing that stage motivation. Cause at that time I haven't competed in like 3 years. until this most recent show. It's been like 3 years since I competed.
And you've made a lot of a lot of changes in your physique within the 3 years, which is awesome.
3 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we went on and we pulled up that last picture, your last stage shot.
Yeah.
And compared that to, that was a couple weeks before our show even.
Yeah.
And the changes were significant. You put on a lot of size, a lot of mass in the back, chest.
Yeah. Let's talk about off season for a minute. Yeah. I don't think a lot of people understand, and I know a lot of our niches, a lot of people that are listening to our podcast are purely lifestyle, but there's some athletes that are listening to it. But I don't think people understand how much off season really helps your prep. What we focus on majority of the times when prep comes, it's exciting, right? You're hungry again, you go into the gym, you start seeing lines, so it doesn't matter how much you suffer as far as food, you still want to go through it.
Yeah.
But in bulking, you don't see that. You don't have that excitement.
Yeah, you watch it disappear.
Yeah, you watch all the lines disappears, right? You get a little bit of fat, right?
Yeah.
And truth be told, you can't get rid of fats completely. It's your fat shrinks, right?
Yep.
So when it expands a little bit, people are starting to get worried, and your face structure kind of change, and your water, you're holding a little bit of water. So I get it. But a lot of people there's a lot of athletes that I know and that we know, they would compete shows after shows after shows after shows after shows, back to back to back, and not making
same look.
And then they will go off season, right? But their off season is literally 6 months or less, and I'm like, that's not enough time.
Yeah,
it's really not enough time.
Yeah, if you look at it, you got to miss a whole season. So I mean, you got those guys who they go one season, their off time is from October to March. And then they're back in it every show. And then
they'll do August or something.
Yeah.
The following year.
Yeah.
So really, if you're looking at 24-week bulk, so you do 24-week bulk, and then you have to have a little bit of a mini cut.
Yeah.
Before you prep, in my honest opinion, because
I believe that 100% prep before the prep.
Yeah, it's a prep. So you have to be ready to prep. Now you can't just go from bulking and then we're prepping now.
Diet.
It doesn't, and then that's when you go from 4,500 calories down to 3,000. That's a lot of calories drop all at one time. Yeah. So it's really, people need to understand that off season, if you want to compete as a bodybuilder, off season is where you really need to take it seriously, not the prep. The prep is the easy part, unfortunately.
Yeah, the work's been done at that point.
It is. Yeah. It is the easy part. All you got to do is shred the fat.
Yeah.
Because shredding fats can take weeks. Adding muscle can take years.
Yep.
Years, bro. Colton's been at it for a while, and he's still not satisfied. I'm not satisfied. Right?
I'm not satisfied.
You're not satisfied. Yeah.
See, that's crazy.
Yeah, and he's added 40 pounds. So it's really, people don't understand how much off season can really affect your prep.
Very important.
Yeah. So when you saw him, so what of the most impressive thing on Teo that you see that you can be like, oh my God, like this guy could be like really good at the sport?
It's a good question.
When you catch this guy in the gym, so I mean, you know me, I go in, I'll talk to everybody that I know. So as the weeks went on, I'm talking to Mataeo, and he's got these shoulders that just, they pop out. His back has a nice taper. So he said they're like, this kid has so much potential. But in the conversations, you're like, he's on the track to lose that potential and become just your average Joe. So eventually I started being like, what are you doing? Like, you have all this. Why would you let that go to waste? What are you doing? And then over the next couple of weeks, we started talking more and more, getting deeper on it. And then, I mean,
so
pictures you would send from that would be his chest is nice and full. The only thing he struggled with was his core.
And my next question to you, Teo, what made you decided to work with Paden?
Like he said, like it's to be real, it's hard to find people like as real as Paden. Like I know he would do everything, and he wanted to help me. Like I didn't come up to him. He came up to me and told me I had a lot of potential. Like, and I didn't even see it in myself. Like same thing in my back of my mind, like all the stress and anxiety and stuff like that, like that gets to you and you lose motivation. And then it's easy just to kind of like, I'm just lifting today. Paden was like, dude, like you have potential.
Yeah.
And he's super cool about it too. So he's the one that kind of got me back on track just because of,
And how long did you prep? What's your total prep?
What was the total prep time?
I think we started 24 weeks.
24 weeks?
Maybe 26.
26?
Yeah, it
I
was
think it was
about that time.
26 because I remember we did the math one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was prepping for a long time.
And I love that because our philosophy is we don't prep people 15 weeks or less.
Yeah, see, I prefer 18.
Minimum 18 for me. 20 is a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Because because of what I look at is when you do 20 weeks, right? So that's a little less than 6 months. So when you start at 20 weeks, you're not cutting at 20 weeks. We're revamping your body for the first 4 to 6 weeks, and then we dive in a little bit more on the caloric deficit. Yeah, because you don't want to go from 4,500 calories to 2,000 calories in a week, and then you
burn it all.
Yeah.
Also, like, you never know what's gonna happen too. Like, remember, I got so sick, dude.
Yeah,
me and my girlfriend was stayed in bed for like
a
week.
Yeah, I swear it was like 2 weeks because I got your check and you're like, I am sick. I can't eat anything.
Wait, 2 weeks out?
No.
This was way in advance. It was like 18 weeks maybe.
And I remember you told me just prioritize protein and, just do what I can. Keep drinking water. Yeah, prioritize protein.
Because remember that first week, we had a group chat. So it was me, Teo, and Andre. And he came on and he says, hey, I've been sick. I haven't been eating. And Andre, I mean, me and him been through 3 years together. So he was like, you need to tell Paden. Like, when you feel sick, he'll work with you. He'll switch something up. So it's the next following week we told him prioritize your protein. If you don't get all this other food in, don't sweat it. Your body right now just needs what it can get.
Well, the fact that, the biggest lesson here is allowing our clients to have that safe space to say, hey, we're not okay.
Yeah.
I feel sick. I don't feel like, I don't feel like I'm going to the gym. Like, it happens sometimes. I hate that I say this, but almost every time I prep, like, I get sick 6 weeks, 8 weeks out. You know what I mean? I'm like, God damn it. But I know what happens at that point. So I talked to my coach, Brandon, and said, hey, man, hey, man, here's what's going on. He'll tell me the same thing. Like, hey, this is what we're going to do. Yeah. Focus on soup, focus on protein. If you want to get some pho, go get some pho, right? It's a week off of dieting. It's not gonna kill you, especially if you are on point.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's important to have a coach, because when things do, which they always do, they come up during your prep. I don't know why, but when things do come up, it's better to have somebody that you trust and that knows what's going on, who's been there. And so me having Paden, like, hey, prioritize protein, like, you're okay. And then, like, because if I didn't have Paden at the time, I would feel like crap not eating, and then I would probably not look as good 2 weeks later coming to the gym. So then me not knowing.
Or you trying to force yourself to go to the gym, so which means you're not recovering.
Yeah. You're not giving your time.
And then all of a sudden you're 4 weeks in, you're still sick.
Or you just lose track of your diet.
Yeah.
And then that's where, like, not eating enough comes into play, and then you just devastate your whole prep, Yeah.
So how many shows have you done total?
I did, let's see, the Teen, FitCon, Wasatch Warrior. This was my fourth one. So fourth, yeah. So that was your fourth show. So the first 3 shows, there were no coach. No coach.
No one was guiding you.
Nobody.
At all. And how did you do your show before this last one, the third one?
I did, let's see.
Did you do Wasatch again?
Yeah, I did Wasatch.
I think I remember you on stage, because I think you were on stage with Aaron.
I took third in the open.
The open, yeah. And I remember you look pretty solid there too.
Yeah.
Because you have a really good genetics.
Because I remember him from FitCon too.
Yes.
FitCon, he had a solid look there.
That's right. Aaron was the one who did that show.
Yeah.
And he won Class A on that one. Well, no, he didn't win Class A. He lost to the guy that went pro a couple weeks later. Yeah, he looks crazy.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between, let's talk deeper into this, right? So what's the difference between your last prep actually having a coach versus all the other ones?
Ooh, so with not having a coach, man, a lot of people, I guess genetics carried me a little bit, but yeah, basically the inconsistent eating. So I was doing more macro counting when I was doing it on my own, and I know how to count macros, but I didn't know, like, after a while of, like, counting macros, it gets harder because I didn't have a meal plan. So every single day I'm eating something different. And that's fine for, like,
it's fine for a little bit.
Maybe
for a weekend.
Yeah, for the weekend when you're going out and you need to fit something in. And so, but I was doing that every day on a bodybuilding prep.
So you had no structure, no discipline.
So I was eating enough protein, and I was doing cardio and I was doing everything I needed to do that I thought I needed to do. But as far as like the inconsistency with the food, I was so bloated, man. I was so bloated and I was hungry at times, and I didn't know how much to pull back my calories at certain points. And then at a certain point, I'm like, I'm lean, not lean enough. And I'm like hard on myself. So I was like kind of crash dieting myself a little bit. And then that just kind of led to some.
Man. You're stressing me out right now.
Dude,
you're stressing me out.
I'll tell you though, that led to some binging. Like I binged. I binged and I got bloated, and
you binge while on prep?
Oh yeah.
Oh my
multiple
gosh.
times.
That's crazy.
Multiple times, dude.
Yeah. And well, especially if you don't have anybody to report to.
Exactly.
Accountability is a big, really, really huge
and
aspects
then,
of that.
Yeah, and it messes with your mental health. Like I was like, oh, like I'm a piece of crap. Like I shouldn't be doing this. Like I can't even stick to my diet. And then to make up for that, since I binged the day before, I would cut my calories even more for 2 more days, like something like that, or do extra cardio. And little did I know was that's like the worst thing I could do. Like I'm just starving myself at that point. Like if I were to binge now and then I'd like tell Paden, like nothing would change. We would just get back. I'd just be eating the same exact thing. I wouldn't eat less because I binged the day before.
Right.
And I think that's a lot of like some big things that I learned from him was, you know, that consistency of all the food.
That is huge because we do talk a lot about emotional eating, and we tend to go into a spiral of, oh, I had this and this and this weekend, so Monday I'm going to go on a cut. Monday I'm only going to eat.
This
Monday I'm fasting.
Monday I'm fasting for 12 hours.
I'm not eating for a week and a half.
Exactly. So you're doing all this crazy shit by yourself, and then Thursday you're back on the wagon again. You're because you're starving yourself for 4 days, and then you binge again on Thursday.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did.
Your body goes through this, you know?
Oh,
It's just an up and down game of binging.
Yeah, that's rough, man.
so what would you tell like one of your clients, like if they were to binge? Like,
Say that conversation. Yeah. So this is something that that we talked about right before the podcast, and we talked about, and there's one reason why I like to have Coach Nick, Coach Paden, Coach Desi, even Marjorie, in our team, and these a bunch of amazing coaches. The reason why we like these guys is because they have the same mentality as I do, right? So we speak to our clients the same way.
Yeah.
Maybe approach it differently, because we believe there's no such thing as bad food. There is such thing as better choices of food. And we also believe that we should not guilt you for doing any extra cardio or give you any sort of like homework to do because you did something that you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when Colton checked in sometimes on a Sunday and I look at his picture, I'm like, what the fuck did you eat this weekend? Right? And I'm going to say it like that. No, I'm being serious.
You got to be, the more transparent and open you can be as a coach, the better the relationship.
And because he knows how I work. And then when he messages you back, I'm like, oh, I wasn't sleeping and I had a cheat meal and and this. I'm like, okay, let's not dwell on that. It's just a question. Let's do better this week. Let's get back on track.
Yeah.
So we don't associate any discipline if you came to us and say, hey man, I had this and this. And I'm like, okay, first of all, thank you for letting me know. Second of all, I always ask this question: what is your emotional state during that time of event? Were you bored? Were you peer pressured? Or were you just hungry? You could have just ate your food and not binge.
Yeah.
You just eat your food.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So binging for one from one, day, it's not gonna, it shouldn't, but depending on what you eat.
Yeah.
But if you consistently binging day 1 and then day 2, same thing, day 3, day 4, day 5, that's when it gets dangerous.
Yeah. Fat loss comes over time.
Yeah. And then your glycogen is so high that now you're insulin resistant.
It causes more work at that point.
Yeah, and then it becomes more work. So then you have to reduce that, right? And the only way that you can reduce it is to essentially eat less and exercise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And insulin resistant, you're more restricted on foods that you can actually take in.
And that's when you're just not ready for a prep because you have to diet on 500 calories.
No, because if you take someone who's going into a prep in their emotional states, on the rocks, I don't put anyone into a prep.
100%.
You have to have that emotional aspect in control before you go and push yourself further past that.
And did Paden ever ask you, hey, I know you want to prep in October, for example. What does your next 20 weeks look like? Did he ask you that? Did he ask you
not that specific question, but I know we had a conversation where, like, even in the gym in person, where you're like, where's your motivation at? Like, what are you thinking as far as the show? Like, how are you feeling? Like, you'd always ask me how I'm feeling. Yeah. And at first, like, you already knew I had no motivation. And then talking with you and working out with you was a big thing to, like, get me going again. But then you helping me with my meals, that actually was, like, a good stepping stone for me to have my emotional state in a good spot where I knew I could prep.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. You have to have a good mental space.
Absolutely.
We ask that with every one of our clients. Actually, one of my very, very first question, they always come up to me and said, hey man, I think we're ready to prep. I'm like, I agree, but let me ask you this. What is it? Is there anything going on in your life in the next 20 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay. The second question is, where is your emotional state right now?
Yeah.
Are you able to prep? What I mean by that, let me go deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have personal issues going on? Do you have financial issues going on? Right? Do you have something going on in your life that it can cause you or someone could hold you back?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And who's that person or what is it?
Yeah.
And if you can't answer that question, then you have an issue. Then you're not ready to prep. Yeah. And that's okay. There's always another show. Yeah. It's not just one and done and you can't do another show.
That's it for life.
Yeah, there's it for life. And there's always another show. So you have to be 100% mentally, emotionally ready, not just physical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
that.
That's why
there's more in the game.
There's more to it. There's more to it.
That's probably why you're always asking me, like,
I get annoying with how I do it because I'm always like, how you feeling? You know, check-in days, I'm like, how are you? It's that. So with the healthcare job I do, so wanting to be a nurse and nurse practitioner or whatever.
Yeah.
I do it different than everybody else because I'm not as, I don't know, I'm taught bedside manner where I'm like, so how are you? What's going on? But every time you answer, gives me another thing I can go off of and try to dig a little bit deeper, like Johan said.
Yeah.
So even if conversations, if I see you in the gym and we're talking and you say one thing that I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll bring it up again and be like, so what's up with this? You know?
Yeah, you're good with that. I remember like telling you like things were going on, like my car broke down. Like my girlfriend we had to use her car for a while when I was on prep and I had no motivation.
Shout out to the girlfriend right now.
Shout out to my girlfriend.
Yeah.
But yeah, he kept bringing it up like, how's the car? How's your work schedule doing? Like these are all things like we talked about.
And what's the car has to do with food, right?
Exactly.
What the car has to do with your prep. But it comes with the question that we ask because if that car causes you stress, which means cortisol is high, you're not going to, and you can't sleep at night because you're thinking about what? Your car.
Yeah.
Sounds weird, but.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Colton just raised his hand, just so you guys know. That's why we look at him.
And then on prep, it's just like times 10. Like your emotions are high. You're just hungry.
You're hungry.
Yeah,
you're snapping at everybody.
Like on prep, I was texting you every day to be like, how are you?
Yeah.
You know?
You always check up on me.
So before we talk about your macros or food or a little bit more details during prep, what was your experience with the emotional side of things? What was your emotional
of prep?
Of prep in general, or just if you had any emotional part of your journey, what does that look like?
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs. Like I've always been like super nice and outgoing and everything like that. But as far as like the emotional state, I think I'm always like, maybe because I didn't get enough validation or like love as a child. I feel like that's what it is, that trauma. Like
do you think that still bugs you today?
Yeah, I think so. I think like, yeah, for sure. Like not having like my parents like there for me. Like I was always just kind of pushed to the side a little bit. Didn't really had like a dad to go to like events for me or anyone to be proud of me. I'm always like hard on myself. And so I always feel like I can do more.
That's hard because, I felt that. And as much as I love my parents, they gave me everything I have today, and I respect that. So since my parents split, moved to the U.S., my parents both had to work.
Yeah.
So when I play soccer for high school or a club, sometimes they're not able to take me or be present.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize it at the time.
Yeah.
Because you're a kid, you're just having fun, But then when you get older and you're like, oh, I wish I would have had my parents there supporting me.
Yeah.
Just what I mean? If they can't be there physically, but at least be there emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
But when you don't have both, bro, that can cause a lot of issues down the road as an adult. You know
especially like when like us as young kids like doing sports and stuff like that, and you do good and you feel good about yourself, like who's there to like give you that validation except for yourself? Like after a while, you're just like, am I good enough? Or like, you know, like you're wondering who you're doing it for. And yeah, you're supposed to do it for yourself, but I think it's very important to have a support system. And then when you don't have one, then it's like you kind of get lost.
Let me ask you this. When was the last time you heard your parents say, I'm proud of you?
That's a tough.
The fact that I got to think about that. Don't know, man.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Can we say something, though?
Yeah.
As your coach, Paden, not me, I'm talking you as his coach, and me watching your journey, we are truly, truly proud of you.
Thank you.
What you've accomplished, your first 3 shows by yourself, the fact that you hired a coach this time around and won your class as well.
Yeah. And
so don't make that be a part of your life for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
like,
no, definitely.
It already happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know you're going to be a better father because of that.
Yeah.
I know you're going to show up for your kids every single fucking day. Right now, like anytime when my little one has a game or a show or anything important, dude, I reschedule my clients. I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there
I
because you
even took up
cannot
coaching volleyball for one of our kids.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because you can't buy time. So all that time that you miss from your parents, I know for a fact that they wish they look back and say, shit, I wish I would have been there for Teo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I respect you guys for that. You guys are good dudes.
Yeah.
So I surround myself with Paden and you.
It's this journey is more than just physical, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like people tell me all the time, like, bro, you look great. I'm like, thank you. But I don't think you realize how hard it is for me to get here physically, you know? So, but you're so that's why I want to ask about your emotional journey. Like, I know it's hard. And especially when you do this on your own. And I know you have your girlfriend. What does your support system look like?
Yeah, Paden.
Who do you have? Paden?
I got my girlfriend and then Alan, he just left on his mission.
Yeah, he went on a mission, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Alan,
it?
And then my best friend Mikey.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my support system. And then of course, like the followers, I guess.
So you don't live
homies.
with family?
No. I live with my girlfriend.
Wow.
Yeah.
You chose to do that on your own?
Yeah, I chose to do that on my own. Yeah, I haven't lived with my family since I graduated.
Do you see your family a lot?
No, I barely reconnected with my sisters. Like they came to my bodybuilding show. Yeah, and that was the first time in a while that I saw them. So that was kind of special to have them. My mom didn't come. She couldn't make it. And I didn't live with my parents since I graduated. So I graduated, they divorced and sold the house. And I went out and did summer sales right when I graduated, like the next day. Yeah. I packed up and left. And then
where did you go?
Went to Texas.
Yeah.
I did summer sales there. That helped with like talking and
of
all
course.
that.
Being confident, knocking on doors is never easy, bro.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I came back and then like my mom's like, "Oh, we're selling the house." I'm like, "Oh, like where's my dad?" "I don't know. We don't talk to him." "Oh, okay. We don't talk to him then." And like, "Okay, whatever." And then they're like, "We're moving to South Dakota. You coming?" I'm like, "I just got here. Like all my friends are here, and and I didn't feel comfortable going out there. There's no gym. There's nothing out there.
I mean, it's South Dakota, first
a reservation, man.
Yeah.
And I knew like the people out there, like they're into like a lot of bad stuff, and I didn't want to be around that. Yeah. And I knew sticking with my best friend Alan and all the locals here, like it was like the gym community I'm close with. I was like, no, I feel like this is my home.
And
this is where I have to be. 19 at the time.
How old are you now?
25.
Wow,
that's crazy.
You've gone through a lot.
Yeah,
especially
for your 25 years of your life.
Yeah,
you've gone through a lot, and a lot of things you didn't get the support that you needed.
No,
for the most part.
Yeah.
You even said it earlier. You can't play football because you can't afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's rough, man.
Yeah. So then they left, and then I ended up. My mom's like, "Well, you got to find somewhere to live because like we no longer have the house." I'm like, "Oh," so I was like homeless. I was like, "Okay, what do I do?" So then I asked my best friend. I was like, "Hey, like, can I live at your house? I don't have a job. I don't have money." He's like, "Yeah, sure." So he let me live in his basement. 19 at the time. Got a job at Vasa. And
I think I remember that actually.
Fernando always tells me, "Oh, I remember him from Vasa. Like he was this little skinny kid," and I was like, "It's so funny because to have her say that about him, and then to see him a couple years later, and I'm like, I can't picture him being this skinny kid working at Vasa."
Yeah, man. I graduated at 153-ish pounds.
That's crazy.
Wow. 200 now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's amazing.
That's
So
so
small,
crazy.
man. It took me that long to grow.
Yeah.
But
She always mentions, she's like, he always talked about wanting to compete and be like, oh, I'm going to compete someday. And she'd be like, okay.
Yeah, that's how everybody was. I wanted
you just
it,
go
man.
with it. But, you know, to have that drive and then to see where you got, you know, your first show and then the 3 after that, people can thrive off that.
Yeah.
Because you have this ambition to become this, you know, what you wanted to be, a bodybuilder. You know, people give up on themselves too often. Yeah. And they don't know that they're, you know, this close to their goal. Yeah. You know, it takes a lot of time to get what you want, especially with your kind of background, you know. Yeah. You went through a lot of shit all at one time. Most people would give up, you know. So I got one question though. Man. Why did you never give up on you?
There's always something in the back of my mind, man, that like I have to make it. Like I don't know, I just have so much passion for things. Like when I get into something, like I get into them. And I love a lot of things, and when I do things, I do it full-heartedly. Like, I don't know. Like maybe I won't be Mr. Olympia, but like
never say never.
But maybe you will.
But hey,
never say never, bro.
Hey, yeah. I know I can get close.
You're only 25. Yeah. Imagine where you're at by 30. Yeah. If you look at the majority of the high level, you know, competition, a lot of these guys are above 25 to 30 years old. Yeah. And they're hitting that prime at 30. Yeah. 30 to 35 is
well,
where.
I mean, even look at like Matt Moore.
Yeah.
Like you look at his first couple stage shots, you're like, okay, yeah, he looks good. But you look at him now. Yeah. I mean, me and him are pretty similar in age, and he's a tank.
He's killing it, bro.
He's a scary dude now. Yeah. He don't mess around.
The nicest motherfucker.
He's a cool guy. Yeah.
The nicest dude. No, that's really cool. That, you know, I mean, it's not cool that you had that such a rough childhood. I would say. Yeah. But the fact that you're making a lot of things happen now says a lot. Like you still have that grit. You still have that consistency. Yeah. Use the people that surround yourself. And I'm always going to say this because of how young you are right now. It's all about the people that you surround yourself with. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be friends with Colton if he's lazy. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. You know, I wouldn't have Paden to join our team if if his work ethic and his grit is not there. Yeah. You know, it doesn't work. Same with Nick and same with Coach Des, right? I mean, we all have our own insecurities. I get that. Yeah. But the fact that you made it on your own, even after you get back from summer sales at 19 years old, your parents be like, "Oh, tough shit. Yeah, we don't have a house for you."
It's the other benefit of having friends like that. Like you said, I wouldn't be friends with you if you weren't lazy. There's been times where I have been lazy, and he's the first person. Yo, what's going on?
Call you out on it.
But then the other thing too is like how many times I call you out on stuff too. I'll be like, "Yo, you're doing this, or you're not doing that, or you said you were gonna do this, or blah blah blah." And he's like, "Bro, like," but I think that's why the relationship is so good.
You almost need that stuff. It's like when I first met Johan. I mean, I was training with you and Luis, but then our friendship started to grow further, and I liked it because Johan's the type of person he won't force you to be somewhere. He'll say little things to be like, "You could do this better," or "You could do this better," and you're like, "I could do that better. I could be on the same level as Johan. I just gotta, you know, every day show up and be Johan."
I tell him all the time. I hear him in my head.
I get
all
that.
The time.
I get that. There was
like when I'm at the gym.
There was a time on my first prep where I had a dream, and Johan was telling me that I looked. He's like, "You look shitty." So I was like, because I used to send you posing videos every day, and there was one time where I was so insecure about my look because I lost a lot of my size, and I remember just having the dream where Johan said, "Hey, you look kind of shitty. Like, what's going on?" And I woke up and I was like, "I gotta text Johan.
I gotta call him. I'm thinking about him." I remember it was not this show, the last show before that. It was a Wasatch Warrior. I remember you saw me in the gym. I don't know if you remember. You helped me with my posing.
I don't remember that.
I have pictures.
You did?
I have pictures, bro. I have to show you. He's like, okay, turn your waist here, do this. Yeah. Like, dude, you literally helped me.
I forgot.
That was so long ago. Johan's one thing that I like about him is how he treats people. Yeah. You know, I wouldn't join a team if it didn't fit how my personal values are, because I like people. I like helping people. Yeah. You know, just helping them go further. Yeah. Johan's the exact type of person I want to be with and surround myself with. So that's why I saw him and I was like, this is the person I'm going to gravitate towards because of, you know, interactions like that. simple tweaks in posing, he helps uplift people, even if they're not clients.
And because we do this is the same value of all of us coaches, and this is Colton included too, is that we don't do this for money and not just do it for money. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we want to help you. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you're my client or not. If you ask for help, I'll be there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have you, have to have you like shout me out or nothing. Like, if that helps you, that's cool, because that speaks volume, right? Because we're all about quality, never quantity. Mm-hmm. My circle is small, bro. Yeah. In fact, it's gotten smaller since I got back from Malaysia, believe it or not. I've been kind of being reserved. I had a lot of people texting me. I'm like, hey man, I haven't seen you. Hey man, I haven't seen you. Da, da, da. And I'm like, I just don't. If you don't come to FTC, you won't see me. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I really want. Yeah, no, I'm saying like,
I haven't been there just because of school, either. And I'm like, I gotta text Johan. Yeah, because it's hard for me to put myself out because I've been doing a lot, and I mean the reason I had to scale back is, I'm in nursing school, and my grades were really, really shitty. So there was a day where I went through a week where I was trying to think of ways where I can do better, so I can do more. So I told Johan, I was like, hey, I need to step back. I need to just take a break so I can focus on this, get it done. Yeah. Oh, okay. And I mean, first thing in my consultations, I'm always telling people, like, I'm not in this for your money. I work full time with IHC. I don't need money. I'm here to help you. Yeah. I think I said the same thing to you.
I was gonna say that's how we met. You're like, hey, like, I can help you out. And by then I've already been seeing you for a couple times.
Bro, and your physique. Let's talk about prep and food and gear protocol. Let's talk about that. Yeah. So at what weeks out, Paden, that you started seeing the changes going into the show?
His was weird because going into the show, 18 weeks out, that's usually where I like to start, dipping down maybe 200, 300 calories. I didn't feel the need to because he was already veiny. He had striations. So I was like, okay, this is a little bit different. So the thing that I thought, was going on is because Mataeo's the first person I've trained that ever had any kind of TRT, because all my other athletes have all been natural guys. So I'm used to having to keep them full and stressing out when to cut because I don't want to cut too much.
Yep. Lose muscles.
Lose muscles. So I sat there and, we got down to probably about, I think it was 13, 12 weeks out where finally I was like, let's dip it down.
Yeah. So I remember was it like a month out? A month out of the show, maybe like 6 weeks. I remember you're cutting my oatmeal like hard. Yeah. Dude, I was eating like 40 grams of oatmeal, and I was like, this is my oatmeal. Like, I'm not leaving the house. You start cutting hard.
When I mentioned about cutting because I like to always go in steps. I'll be like, hey, this is what to expect, this week. Mm-hmm. And there was a week where I was like, we're going to have to drop your protein. I've never had anyone get so upset. Because he was like, that's my favorite meal.
Yeah. We get that a lot. I'm like, did you take my... And I'm like, calm down, bro. Yeah.
Like, inside I'm like, I left it there as long as I could for you, but we don't have room right now.
It's temporary, and when we got to cut, And then I usually go ham at like 6 weeks out. Yeah. 6 weeks out is where usually, okay, let's now... The other gear protocol hits in 6 weeks out.
See, that's when it became game time.
Yeah, that's 8
weeks out. That's when I started to really pull him back down. Yeah, because I was like, his food's been high up. I think I was even talking to you about it. His food's been high the entire time.
So that's why I like Nick and Paden too. When they have athletes, they'll send me their photos, their weight, and then the macros, and then I'll give them a little feedback of what I see, because sometimes it's nice to have another person's eye. Yeah. To say, hey, I would do this or not do that if I were you because of what's going on. Yeah. Because we've never been the kind of team that, hey, this is my athlete, I'm going to tell him that person do exactly what I need to. Don't chime in. Don't talk to anybody. Right? We're not like that at all.
No, you can't be, honestly. If you want to go further as a coach, you have to have more of a mentor. You have to learn from someone. Yeah. So my theory on texting Johan is he's done it longer than me. Mm-hmm. And he's had more athletes than I have. Yeah. So I'm going to take advantage of him and be like, hey, this is where I'm at. This is my idea. What are your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember you told me, you're like, I'm going to text Johan and Nick and ask him a few things if you're okay with it. Like, I think we were talking about kind of like show day food, like pumping up and stuff. You guys are like comparing like snacks and stuff. You're like, yeah, that'll do it. You guys are all agreed, and I'm like, okay, let's do it.
I remember me and Nick sitting backstage with you, and I was like, it's time for this.
Yeah,
you guys are like, yeah.
I heard you guys timed it perfectly,
dude. It was on point.
Let's talk about peak week.
Peak week,
the week of your show. So did you do water manipulation starting Saturday to Saturday?
We started Sunday because
we were going 2 gallons.
Yeah, 2 gallons going Sunday, and then we stopped water altogether Friday. Yeah,
Friday at 3. Right?
5. But you finished early.
I stopped.
You were thirsty?
I was so thirsty.
Man. It was 5, and he texted me. I texted you about, because I always do a check-in.
Yeah.
And I think it was about 3:30. I was like, hey, where are you at on water? It says, I finished like an hour ago.
Oh, my goodness.
I was like, okay, cool.
You'll be, you were thirsty as shit.
I was thirsty, man.
Dude, but the benefit to it is with him doing wrestling in the past, like he was all right.
No, yeah.
Like I try to check in just to be like,
you good?
So what's going on? You doing all right? And he was like, no, dude, this is easy.
Yeah, I was good, man. I could have went another day without water. No, I'm kidding. But
no, that's crazy.
No, my mouth was so dry. But
so did you peak him? So what did you do for like refeeds and stuff on the week of the show?
The way we did it is,
did you do clean? All clean?
Yeah, we went real clean. And then we did 0 carbs on the week before for a couple days up until Monday.
Before you peaked
Before we peaked. And we brought in a very little amount of carbs for Wednesday, Thursday. Then we did a super high one on Friday. I think we did 350.
That didn't feel like a lot to me.
I know. To me, I looked at it, I was like,
nothing.
Do you feel like you should had more carbs? Or did you guys
we should have started 2 high days before. So the Thursday started with 350.
Correct.
And then gone a second day.
Yeah. Because then you can
fill out.
They can choose.
Because he posted a picture on Sunday. And it was money.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, the next time we go to do it, we'll try.
Did you remember what you ate Saturday night after the show?
Oh yeah.
I always ask my client, I'm like, hey, write it down.
Yeah.
I want to know what you ate and check in Sunday and see how you look on Sunday.
I was craving chocolate chip pancakes and just eggs.
Yeah.
Whole eggs.
That's it.
Next time we're taking in pancakes.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like
we were so new though. Like I didn't even know my own body. So we did the best we could at the time, and it looked great. But we for sure could have pushed it a little bit more,
a lot harder.
And that's why Brandon and I, I've been with him for 3 years now, and so every show I get better. I do better because he knows my body, and I know my body. Like he doesn't really like the last show. He barely coached me. He was like, "Here's the macros, cool, boom. Here's the macros, boom. Here's a cardio."
You did it yourself too?
It's no. He coached me, but
okay.
I didn't need much coaching at all. Does that make sense? I still check in every single week.
Their style is different. Brandon gives him macros, so what numbers to hit each time.
Yes.
And then Johan's good enough where he'll just dial it all in.
His food's on point. And then I'll take out like all the chemicals a week before, 2 weeks, because I know my body enough that I know what bloats me. I know what food bloats me the week of, and I know how I can, because he'll say, hey, let's carb up 350 today, and I'm like, okay, cool. I know exactly what carbs to hit that 350 to make me look. Because you can go simple, you can go complex, or you can go both.
Yeah.
What works for your body? What sticks?
How do you respond?
What I found out for me, none of the simple carbs sticks because my fats was so low. So then he upped my fat, because what it does, it helps you absorb the carbs and hold on to it a little bit longer.
So you were going higher fats.
We were going higher fats, bro.
See, that's what we started playing, and I threw fats in every meal.
I think I was hitting like close to 70 grams of fat during peak week. Yeah. And this is like the day before the show. And then the difference between my last show versus this recent one is we use a glucose monitor on peak week. Yes. So he had me check all the way every morning after or every morning, and then before I go to bed, just kind of see where I dip, where I decrease or increase. And then on Friday, I had to do my glucose monitor like every meal. Before every meal. Yeah, bro.
Did you catch yourself doing any of this, or was it pretty steady?
It was dipping. And so we knew on Friday, that's why he upped my fat. I'm like, bro, we need to get fats in. Cream of rice, fat with peanut butter, right?
Yeah.
And I checked my glucose. It bumped up to like maybe 74. And then 2 hours later, boom, it goes down to like 40. It goes to the point where the thing says low, and I'm like, and my coach was like, "You got to eat now," and I'm like, and so
you're getting anxiety,
so we had about 300, 350 Friday, But I had additional meal at 10 o'clock because I checked in before I go to bed. He goes, dude, you're still flat. And then yeah. So I think glucose monitor.
That's important
for your next athletes would be. I do that with all of my athletes now. Glucose monitor.
Every single one
of them now. And you don't have to do it all the time. You just, especially on peak week, because how do you know if their glycogen is full or not?
Yeah, you don't.
How do you know if simple carbs would work for them or not? You don't.
That would have been interesting to see. Like with all the food you gave me before the show, like actually like how much more could we push it?
Because what does that look like 2 hours from now? Are you dipping? Okay, so let's talk about the day of the show.
Day of the show.
That's fun.
Right? So when you wake up Saturday morning, what was that check-in process look like, and what did you have to eat?
Because check-in was, our first check-in was what, 6 is when you woke up?
No, I had a 10.
Because we woke up pretty early.
I woke up at like 5.
Yeah, I think it was up at 5. Because his first check-in came in. From that picture, that's when I was like, okay, let's do, I think our go-to was cream of rice for that meal. Oatmeal. We did oatmeal. And then almond butter.
Trying to remember. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Because I wanted to start filling you out even more because you had a nice look. And then after 10, we went 2-3 hours later, another set of pictures came in. And he still had a good look.
Did you guys use any water pills or Diazide?
No.
So it's all natural.
So you know me.
No water. Yeah.
I steer clear of,
the Expel
hardcore stuff. Expel doesn't.
The Diazide worked for me though.
Yeah.
My last show.
Yeah. And Expel has
we only did a quarter and a quarter.
Expel has more of a chance of water retention. So like in your lower extremities, you'll notice a little bit of swelling.
Oh, really?
So it's not everyone. It's some people have that. And
that's why 2 shows ago I was feeling weird.
Yeah. And then the bounce back, dude, once you go back to eating normal the following week, dude, your bounce, the water weight, it's crazy.
Lower back pumps.
Oh, bro, it's bad.
It's rough. It's bad. So, I mean, ever since I even started, I've been from a standpoint where I'm not trying to risk any sort of internal organ factors function. Because I started working healthcare and kidney transplant. Mm-hmm. So when you start messing with stuff like that, I'm like, fuck it, no. So that's kind of weird. I mean, Johan thinks I'm crazy sometimes, I feel, because I'm like, every athlete, I'm like, I'm not a chance.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to play it this way, and this way.
And
avoid this.
I like that.
And one of the reasons why I want to ask is because, we see other coaches have their athletes on crazy amount of protocols. So let's talk gear protocol going into Saturday for a second. So you were on TRT when you started prep, and did that increase? Did you go up to, what was it? Did you bump him up?
No, we stayed at 250.
We stay at 250.
Yeah.
And then another compound that was added 6 weeks out.
Yeah, was Anavar.
Anavar. And how many milligrams?
Was
50?
Was it 50?
25, 50?
No, I think they're 50.
50?
Yeah. 50. So usually men's are typically 50.
One tab daily.
So that's it.
Yeah, that's
I love that.
We switched from test SIP to test prop.
Yeah, that's right. But it's still test. I got you.
Same thing.
Okay, so and the reason why I want to talk about gear is because a lot of people think that, a lot of coaches anyway think that they need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 compounds.
More is better.
Right? In my honest opinion, you don't know which one's going to work. If you put all of that in your body, I'm like, oh, you look great. I'm like, oh,
but which one's causing you to respond like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think for us, and that's one of the things that I like about Colton and Paden and Nick, is because we think the same. The less always better. Yeah. Because gear is literally cherry on top. You know what I mean? Because it's your grit, your hard work, your food, your water, your sleep, your stress level. It's what made you look that way. Absolutely. Does testosterone help? Absolutely. If you have low T, below 500 or 400, for example, and you try to do a show, good luck. Yeah, good luck. Because number one, it's going to dip anyway. It's going to dip because you put so much stress on your body. Naturally, it's going to dip. Yep. So sometimes I say this, like I've heard coaches say this. Sometimes it's better for you to utilize a little bit of TRT to do a show, because your adaptability after the show is so much better.
I think it's just less stress on your body too.
Yeah.
It's because your body's not having to process all that, metabolize it.
Yeah, so because you're balancing your hormones naturally, right? If you do it natural, which is great. If you can do that, awesome. I can't. I know I'll lose so much muscle and I look small, and it just doesn't work for me. And so I have to be on my TRT because I'm already low testosterone anyway. Yeah. So minimum, I still need to be on TRT. So I love that. just so you guys know, we don't utilize a lot of gear. And in fact, a lot of people get so weirded out when I told people that, oh, he's only, or she or he's only on one compound. And people are like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, no.
Well, I mean, people think it's crazy when I'm like, yeah, he's natural. Like, I don't throw anything in. So then I have this guy where I'm like, it's like this much.
And you know, and most people, honestly, most people don't need it. Some do, but most people don't. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
especially these young kids like this guy.
Yeah. So show day morning, you fed him food.
Yeah.
So how does it feel right before you step on stage, backstage?
Feels.
You felt like ready?
I felt nervous. I felt ready.
Because you have a coach there now.
Yeah, I was excited. He told me to sit down, like chill, bro.
Yeah.
Well, I told him, so the method is the stress that day should not be on them. You know, as a coach, you take the stress that they should be feeling and you put it on you. So whether it's, you know, they need something, you have extras in your bag. If they forgot anything, you have an extra. You know, you just have to put the work of what would they forget and what can I bring with me to help them not stress themselves out.
Yeah.
Because that's a pretty key piece, is keeping your stress level low, especially on show day.
Oh, dude. I've never done any show by myself.
Yeah.
Hell no. Either Jess is there always, like she makes sure all my backstage, all my passes, she gets the tickets, right? All I had to do was show up and tan and go. Yeah, no. And she drives me, right? Because I can't focus, dude.
Shout
like, and I know people like, you know, make fun of me or whatever. Like, I don't care. Like, when you're in that space, I have one thing in mind: get on stage, win the show, and go home.
Yep.
Right? And when you're depleting so hard to get to that level, and then Colton see me when I'm on prep, and Colton's like, dude, you're good.
A diva, bro. he's a diva. I've
told him. Me too, bro.
That's my girl. Because he changes, you know. He gets real vulnerable real quick.
Oh yeah.
My favorite story to tell is there was one time we were lifting while he was on prep, and while we were lifting, we were just finishing up shoulders or something.
No way, he starts crying.
No, he didn't. He goes, bro. Oh man, I forgot to tell you. Blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, dude, for sure. We took like 15 steps from doing shoulders into his office, and he goes, bro, I forgot to tell you, and he just repeated himself. Yeah, and I was like, you just told me that, and he was like, shut the fuck up. Are you serious? Dude.
One thing I've learned with Johan in prep, especially peak week, you're just there to listen. You know, you'll hear the same thing a couple times, but you're just like, you got this, man. You're good. We're set.
We'll be lifting, and he's like, oh, man, I'm tired, bro. And I go, oh yeah, and he goes, yeah, and then next thing you know, we don't lift, we talk for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Or these guys would say, so you want to come in third, huh? And I'm like, excuse me?
I've done that before. He'll be lifting, and I'll be like, 5 more, and he'll go, I can't, and I'll be like, I thought you wanted to win, and all of a sudden 5 more reps come out of
I know, and it's like ease. He doesn't even struggle. You're just like, oh, okay, so you were wanting third place.
Yeah. So it's really a big deal when you have someone.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you that too. Like, you know, first day, you're like, oh, it's great having a coach there. Your lady was there, right?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Having my lady there with me?
Dude.
Yeah, like I said, like he was doing. She was my ride. She held my luggage, and she was there just to make sure I didn't do anything like I wasn't supposed to be doing.
Do you feel like your relationship has changed? I mean, it doesn't have to be anything dramatic, but do you feel like it's maybe, you know, I feel like it's different, it's better?
It actually motivated her to compete next year.
So she picked up a coach even, huh?
Nice.
Yes.
Is she
lifestyle.
Into fitness at all? Or?
Yeah, she wants to do wellness. She got some big legs, so she's going to be jumping into that. But yeah, she enjoyed the process. She was like, whoa, like this is like what you guys do.
Was that cool for you to realize you were kind of rubbing off on her?
Yeah, it was cool to kind of show her like everything that happens backstage and like the tanning process, and I think it made her excited about it. And then like they were having conversations with your client, Devin, Devin's wife, and they were like talking about like yeah, I thought my man was weird. He said he was like craving like cookies at like 2 a.m, and they were just talking about food videos the whole time. Like I'm like, see, I'm not the crazy one. Both of the wives are talking crap on us, like, because we were just watching food videos every single day.
Yeah, I don't do that.
You don't?
I don't watch food videos. It's
That's
weird.
too tempting.
I tell people to buy food though and eat it in front of me. Like I'll take Nick to
it's weird. It's weird.
We'll go to the store or something. I'm like, hey, can you go get a donut and be like, why? Well, I need you to eat it. So tell me how it tastes.
Tell how it is.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I don't mind because I love when I eat my prep meals and you eating whatever you want right in front of me. I'm like, oh, dude, that looks good.
You watch that.
It's like I'm like, you know,
I don't ever feel bad, and I'm like, oh, go ahead.
No.
Looks good.
See, I had to avoid Instagram because I don't know if you guys know Andy, but Andy posts food all the time. So I had to stop watching stories because I was like, that looks so good, and I could go get it right now.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah, I told Andy when I was like, you gotta stop posting food, man.
On prep, I was like convinced I was gonna make bread after prep. Like I was watching like bread making, and
oh my god,
I almost bought a kit on Amazon to make sourdough. I don't know, it's weird.
We do weird shit on prep for sure.
Honestly.
So the morning of the show, you're backstage pumping up.
Backstage, feeling great.
And you're standing in line for Class A.
Standing in line Class A. I remember people were like, no one knew I was competing. Remember, the Fit Freak, Merrill, like those guys, and Maddie Liftmore. They all saw me backstage. They're like, "What? Like, you're here to?" They saw me at check-ins. They're like, "Oh, you're competing?" Because I had been off the grid for a minute. Yeah. I was like, "Yeah." They saw me pumping up, and I remember like Matt was looking at his athlete, looking at me, and then everyone was like hyping me up, and they're like, "Oh, dude, you look great," and I was like, feeling it.
It's awesome. I think our bodybuilding, in my honest opinion, our bodybuilding people or team or coaches here in Utah, there's a few exceptions that are not in that circle.
For the most part,
for the most part, we all know each other very well as far as coaches, and then we encourage their athletes. I'm like, hey man, you look great. Hey, you look amazing. Hey, you know, you improved this and this and that. Because like we're all there for one thing. We're all there to just compete and have fun and enjoy. If you win, cool. If you don't, try again next time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like the guys I was competing against, we were like talking. We're like, yeah, let's go. Like it was so hype, but. Yeah, they were like, they helped me because, you know, I had Paden and then I had Nick and then I had your clients were hyping me up, man. It was like, I felt so good. It was so much fun.
And when you won your class, was that the first time you won your class?
Yeah, that was the first time.
Yeah. So how did you feel? Like, was it weird to say second place and then it's not your name?
Yeah, it was
that was my experience, bro.
So his was different because they threw him up to Class B. So Class A was Matt's client, Colton. So he won it. He won Class A.
Oh.
Yeah. And then we went up against, I don't even know the other kid.
Yeah.
Were you Class B?
Yeah.
Yeah, they bumped me up to Class B.
Oh, that's weird.
Five,
above 5'7"?
I shrunk. It was weird.
5'6". But
I remember you're like, if you shrink, you did it right. And I'm like, Paden, I shrunk. He's like, perfect. We're ready. We're ready.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, so you were Class B, but so you won your Class B.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and then
awesome.
went to the Open.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
the Open was interesting. It was fun to watch because that's when you really kind of came alive. You know?
Think so?
Oh yeah.
It was all blurred to me, honestly. I wish I could.
You're talking about the overall?
Present.
Yeah, for overall. Because overall he came up. I mean, he came up against Stone, Colton.
Stone won that. Stone won that.
Yeah.
Won that.
And then there was a guy named James who came from out of state, but he went pro a month later.
Yeah.
So I mean, he has some pretty big heavy hitters, and to watch him, he's just out there doing his thing, having fun.
He's just having fun, man. That's the thing too. Like I tell people, you know, everybody's so gung ho about that overall, and truth be told, like I know a lot of athletes that are pro now. They've never even won first place in their class.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And then they go national, get top 5, national again, top 2, pro card, boom.
Yeah.
Never even take first place.
Yeah.
And so winning overall is great. I think it's awesome, but it doesn't make or break it, right? As long as you win your class and you can go to nationals, because I've seen way too many shows that a person that can win overall and they go to national and they didn't place well at nationals, but the other person that lost the class, maybe second or third, get a better placing. I mean, it doesn't happen it's very rare that happened, but it does happen.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it.
National is a whole different beast.
So how did you feel after winning your class and after the show? Like, and then what?
Honestly, I did better than I thought I was going to do. I didn't realize, like,
is it a lot less stress because you have Paden to tell you exactly what to do?
Yeah, way less stress. I just kind of put it all on him. He told me, like, hey, like, let's do this on your posing. I was sending him a lot of videos after prejudging about my posing and stuff like that because he's like, oh, you're going to be in the overall. Oh, really? Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah. So then after that, I mean, most guys would go out and, they get lunch with their family or whatever. So
not me, man.
Not him. I was like, we're going to stick to this, and this for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Go take a nap, wake up, send me pictures, we'll eat.
I couldn't sleep.
So, yeah.
I tried. I can't either.
It's impossible. So really when you're like, hey, go take a nap, it's more like, hey, just go lay down.
Yeah, I just
and
watch
don't
Shrek.
leave your room. Just watch Shrek.
Just de-stress, watch Shrek, and then just eat my meals, checked in with him, and then I was ready for the overall.
That's crazy. Congrats on the overall.
Thank you, bro.
Congrats on the overall place. I think maybe you placed second or third. I don't remember.
Something like
what
that.
do you think? I don't know. Is there a way to check? I guess it don't matter.
Not really, but you can ask the judges.
I mean, they threw him right up with Stone off on that left side.
They did.
Yeah. Were you split middle with Stone? No.
Was
or did I put you on the outside?
It's weird having the 4 because Stone. So it's
got it.
But yeah,
Stone, they just kept moving us back and
James,
forth.
then Colton.
Gotcha. But the thing is, too, like after the show, you ate a meal. Sunday, you checked in again, and were you back on plan Monday?
Was I back on plan?
You should have been.
You should have.
Yeah, I was back on plan. My mom ended up coming down, and
that's right. Because you guys went to dinner with your mom. That's right.
Yeah,
you told me.
So my mom ended up coming down. So then, I had dinner. Honestly, I didn't really eat much the day after the show, but like that Monday, I ate more. Yeah. And
so what now? So what's your next goal?
The next goal is Paden wants me. Paden was the one that actually like asked the judges about my feedback.
Yeah, asked.
What did you ask?
What he could do better. And honestly, the lady gave me really good feedback.
Who was it? Do you know?
Oh, shoot. What was the lady's
Because
name?
I always go to Heather.
I remember the lady's name.
Yeah, I always go to Heather or sometimes Robin.
She sat there and told me his overall look was perfect. So exactly what she wanted.
Okay.
Then she threw in, of course, more size.
Yeah. Oh.
Just overall size. But the look, it was really good feedback. I sent you the screenshot.
Yeah.
And it was better than I expected.
Yeah.
Because usually when you get feedback, it's, you're like, you don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
But to have that, I was like, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
We're set.
Dude, my
last. I know he cares. He got the feedback for me.
No. Exactly. No, we literally like every show, depending. I don't care if you're male, female, because they usually have like intermission before the male goes to female transition. I think for most of the shows anyway. So anytime my guys comes done, hey, run to the judges right now. Ask for your feedback right now. And I'm like right there with them.
Yeah.
My last show with Jordan, same thing. We got off stage. We waited till the end of the show, and then we go up to judges. And
that's what Dre did in his last show.
And so we it's always improvement. But I want people to understand, like, just because you take second or third, it doesn't mean that you're not worthy.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you can't compete anymore. Yeah. It just means that the person that took first place have probably done more than 5-10 plus shows than you did. And have won multiple overalls before that, right? And at some point, the judge is going to give it to you, bro. At some point, you're going to keep growing. The judge is going to be like, oh, shit, Teo cannot win anything but first place and overall. Yeah. Like, there's no way you'll lose.
And now the blueprint's just, we're going to take the feedback and just more size, keep everything else the same.
Yeah, they said what? Upper back?
Yeah.
Delts?
Yeah. And that was it.
Yeah.
Low density in the back and
easy
delts.
Easy. Don't forget to work on legs, right? Because legs is really important for the
fun story about legs is the night before the show, or it was the night before the show.
It was the night before the show.
So Friday we were at FTC practicing posing.
Okay. Yeah.
With him and Devin and
Nick was there.
Yeah. So we're sitting there and he's like, "What if I did classic?" Because his legs looked good. His shape was perfect. So I was like, "Let's send it.
Like, let's see it."
So we start texting people because we're trying to get little trunks there. Yeah. So I'm talking to Billy, I'm talking to Alex York, and we even messaged Cameron Excel and Ike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, Alex York was like, because I sent him pictures of him in a classic posing. I was like, "What are your thoughts?" And all he says is, "If he wants to do it, send it."
Yeah, Alex was like, "Do it."
You could have done both.
So we were this close to signing in.
Almost did classic. Yeah, we were doing like the classic posing. Yeah. Man, that's hard.
Yeah, it is.
Depleted too. It was hard.
Definitely next level. And when you have more than 4 poses,
so now I think that's going to be what we'll do next time. Is we'll do kind of a crossover, do men's physique again and classic.
Yeah. So next year will be a classic debut.
That would be dope.
See how we stack.
So that's the goal. Classic debut next year, 2025.
Yeah, I did so well men's physique. It's like hard to say,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's one of those where we'll use that next show to see how you stack up with classic.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll go in the same way we do, no expectation for it, just see how you do.
But your main focus would be physique, right? I mean, because you already
definitely men's physique for sure.
Through it.
You already have that
focus.
So I know he was talking with one of the guys he's been training with about doing a national show next year. So if we can land that size right,
yeah,
it might be worth it just to see how you fare.
So we're gonna
it's a different game level.
So we're gonna wrap it up now.
Okay.
So the last question that I have is, what is your advice for people that are sort of in your journey, you know, from coming from nothing and to not have a house to stay, family left, and not have the role model that you've been wanting your whole life to where you are today? What is your advice for those individuals, male or female?
My biggest advice, and something that I did that's helped me, is just don't be afraid to reach out to people. Surround yourself by people who make you feel good, who uplift you, who support your dreams and your goals. And that's kind of what I've done, to surround myself by like-minded people, and it's been nothing but great to me. Yeah.
And especially that's all you have right now, because you don't have family here.
Yeah.
So all you can do is just surround yourself with people that are like-minded, for sure.
Yeah.
You know
It's most important.
We don't have time for negativity. We don't have time for people that belittle you. We don't have time for negative shit in our life. Like if you're negative, can't be friends.
You're out.
If you're Debbie Downer, can't be friends.
Yeah.
If your mood depends on the weather, we can't be friends. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work that way. But it's really cool to see. And I didn't know this about your story. Obviously, I don't know a lot about you, but now that I do, that's awesome, man. It's gonna help a lot of people. Anything else you want to say, Paden?
Besides the fact I'm proud of you, you did amazing. And knowing more about your background, it's like I've been saying, it's hard for someone to continue that drive to get to the point you did and to keep going. You know, now the big thing is, how are you going to be able to take all the things you've been through and help the other people going through that same thing, knowing that they can reach the same level you did of, reaching a goal.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I'd tell you just to focus on, is how you can help the next person and go from there. But I've been proud of you ever since you started.
Thanks, bro.
We can't wait. You're going to be pro soon.
Heck yeah.
It's not a matter of if, it's when.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be pro. And whether that's 2025, 2026, 2027, it don't matter. You're only 25 years old, homie. Mm-hmm. You got a lot of time.
Yeah, 10 years younger than me.
You got a lot of time, but at the same time you don't. A lot of 25-year-olds, or maybe less, younger than that, they think that they have all the time in the world. I'm gonna tell you this right now. That's not true.
Time flies.
Time flies. So work on your craft. Work to be the best version of yourself continuously. And the best way to do that is either hire a coach or a mentor to get you to the next level.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with people.
Yep. That's it.
The right people.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for being on, my man. That's it. This is it.
Thanks,
and thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for, sharing our reels or videos, watching YouTube channels and things like that. This has been great to have a lot of supporters of Unfinished Lifestyle. Yeah. And I see you guys next episode. Later.
Peace.
Peace.